I don't get the opportunity to talk to many people who have just perfectly planned out, easy peasy, everything goes the way I want to days. Typically, what ends up happening is we have some sort of idea of what should happen throughout our day, and the world comes in and attempts to knock us off of our emotional balance beam. If we're not careful, if we don't have a strategy to insulate against this, we're kind of at the whim of whatever happens to us. So today's concept comes from a conversation, honestly, that I have semi-frequently with my dad, and it's about Hansel and Gretel, the kid's story, the old fairy tale. If you remember, Hansel and Gretel are two kids who wander into a deep, scary, dark forest, and in order to make sure that they have a way to get back out, they use their loaf of bread to leave a trail of breadcrumbs they can follow back out of the forest if and when they need to. My dad uses this story as an analogy to describe what it's like to set up your day for success. So let's follow his train of thought for a second, because we're ripping this off 100% from him. So if we have a morning ritual or a routine or something that we can anchor back to, that becomes the first piece of bread that we leave at the beginning of the forest that we can then trace our way back out. First, we have to decide, what is my morning routine? What is my morning ritual? This doesn't have to be some massively long, drawn out process. This can be something that takes all of 5 minutes. It can be sitting in prayer and meditation. It can be briefly journaling. It could be reflecting on the day to come and what your intentions are. If you don't already have something that works for you, put something on for size, something simple, and do it for at least a week and see how it feels before switching it up. Once we have that routine in place, once we've done that first thing in the morning, then we start as we go throughout our day. We can leave breadcrumbs that allow us to go back to that moment of clarity and serenity if and when we need it. And let's be honest, we're going to need it. So this looks like taking some pauses throughout the day before we transition to each new task and thinking about, how am I feeling? What's going on within my head? What stories am I telling myself? And do I need to back up the path in order to make sure we're going in the right direction? Without that opportunity in the morning, we're just kind of adrift and at the will of whatever may come our way. What gets really cool about this is when you have set yourself up for success early in the morning, you will find, I find, that you're able to better handle some of the things that life throws at you without getting completely knocked off of what, again, I call the emotional balance beam. Instead of just being completely knocked in the gut and being thrown off of your course, instead we can pause and take a second to handle the situation with better emotional intelligence, right? So how this shows up in your day-to-day is, rather than getting completely spent and snapping at someone on your team or another cooperative agent or one of our clients, God forbid, we're able to kind of slow down, take things less personally, and handle things with better skill, because we've been consistently able to go back to that moment of peace and serenity early in the day. Not only does this cause us to be a stronger leader, a better business owner, a better business practitioner with our clients, the other thing that I've noticed for myself is when I take this practice into a routine, it also allows me to come home with more energy. I'm not spent. I'm not completely burnt out and exhausted from the day. I'm not walking through the garage door and immediately complaining about all the things that happened. I am more emotionally fortitude. I have more emotional fortitude than when I don't start my morning off with intentionality. So my challenge to you is to really think about, what is my Hansel and Gretel trail of breadcrumbs? What is it that I'm doing in the morning that I'm able to retrace my steps if need be, get back on the right path? Things are going to happen. We're entering into an unknown season of real estate, because they all are. And we're going to need to be able to have that emotional and mental fortitude to shift and adjust and move without everything completely knocking us off course. So take a second and let's think, what is my morning routine? And then how am I laying out my trail of breadcrumbs for success throughout the day?